One way to explain the relationship between industrialized countries and colonized countries is dependency theory. Dependency theory divides the world into two different groups of countries, the metropolis and the periphery. The metropolis is the country that is the industrialized, modernized economy. It is a diversified economy, meaning that it makes more than one thing. So, for example, if we were talking about Great Britain, we could say that they make cotton textiles, but they also make railroad cars and railroads. So that if there was a downturn in the cotton industry, that wouldn't affect the railroad industry and the economy could keep going. The other countries, the countries that are colonized, they produce only one thing. They produce monostaple. So, for example, if we're talking about the relationship between Britain and India, India provides cotton to Britain, but it doesn't provide anything else. So if there's a downturn in the market for cotton, then the economy of of India will collapse. So the relationship between the metropolis and the periphery is that the periphery provides resources to the industrial plant of the modernized economy, and at times produces markets as well, or provides markets. So, for example, in India, the relationship between India and Britain was that India provided cotton to the textile industries in Britain, and then Britain sold those finished goods back to India, providing a market for the British industry. This is not always the case. There are cases where the colonized economy isn't big enough to provide a meaningful market for the modernized economy. So markets are not always a big issue, but resources are always a big issue in terms of dependency theory. And when we think about dependency theory, the one thing that we think about in terms of dependency is that the colonized economy is dependent on the health of the modernized economy because they're only producing one thing. And if the modernized economy doesn't need that one thing, then the economy of the colonized economy will collapse. There are different ways of achieving this relationship between the metropolis and the periphery. The classical way of achieving it is by direct control, where a country will move in and take political control of another country so that it can control its resources. And this is what we saw happen in India and also in many African countries. There's another way where the metropolis controls the colonized economy, but doesn't actually rule that country, and that's called economic imperialism, and we'll talk about that on a different day.